Now, creative directors at advertising agencies sometimes have the reputation of being a little arrogant, self-centered and entirely motivated by their own egos. Now let's meet someone who perhaps bucks that trend. Pepe Marais is the founder of one of South Africa's most exciting advertising agencies, Joe Public. I think the work they're producing is fresh and dynamic, but here's an ad man with a heart of gold, all in the aid of charity. He's just back from a run along the Great Wall of China. He put his feet up a little earlier and spoke to Mags on Media.
So it actually started about 5 years ago, in 2006. And just with the idea, I mean, we're in the creative industry, so we deal with ideas, and I just had the idea that maybe I can possibly affect education in South Africa. So one school at a time, it's our own registered non-profit organisation, run by Joe Public, run by myself and my partner, managing director, who's Bronwyn James. She's full-time employed, she runs that organisation. And our endeavours is to create an educational system that's a shining example to the world. So we're really passionate about fixing education long-term over the next 20 years, if it takes that long. It started as a slightly different initiative, but it's actively been going since 2007. So that's 5 years. So the biggest thing with non-profit organisations is finding funding for them. And we used to have a rock concert every year, which only yielded about 100,000 Rand income for this endeavour. And then I had this thought of climbing Kilimanjaro 2 years ago, and Kili is 5,890 odd metres high, and I thought to ask for 1 Rand per metre, and I raised 400,000 Rand within 3 weeks. So I thought, wow, for that effort, 400,000 Rand. So then since then, that was 2 years ago, I'm planning on every year doing something quite out there, and then I asked for a Rand per whatever. So the Great Wall of China, there's 5,000 steps during the course of the race. It's a 42-kilometre marathon. So it includes 5,000 steps, so I asked for 1 Rand per step. It's a grueling race. It's not your average 42 Ks. I didn't know that, otherwise probably I wouldn't do it. But on the sort of, well, while I was flying over, I was reading the brochure on it for the first time. I had time to actually read something because we're in advertising, so we're busy guys and girls. And it actually said one of the most grueling races in the world. So I took my iPhone with me. I had it in my pouch with a couple of things, and every now and again I would just shoot from my POV to capture the race. But basically start on Yin Yang Square, which is a little square at the foot of quite a hectic little mountain. And you run from Yin Yang 5 Ks up a mountain, then you cross over the wall, almost 5 kilometers over the wall. You almost can't run it, it's so steep. It's like very, very steep. I mean, the inclines are probably 60 degrees. I mean, I'm not a natural marathon athlete. I only trained for 2 months for this thing. So that was quite tough for me. So yeah, so that's pretty much the race, and then finish in the Yin Yang Square. I saw grown men cry, so it's quite tough. For me, when I was in it, it was hectic. Once I finished, it was just amazing. It's like climbing a mountain, same thing. While you're in it, it's hectic, you finish, it's amazing. I've got a powerful group of creatives, and they're always keen to do work, and I've got this cause. So we've just come up, one team came up with a beautiful idea. If you're in traffic, you see the amount of beggars on street corners, and they come to your window. You normally kind of ignore these guys, try and turn a blind eye again to an issue within our country. And if you look at statistics again, and the amount of kids that don't finish school, I think it's like 1 in 12 kids finish matric in our country. It's like astronomical. So what we try to do is speak to people at that point of ignoring the issue. We've got an engineering firm in that designed a device for us that can interrupt any radio frequency. And we actually took 3 street people, we took them into studio, and we got to record their thoughts, which are obviously pre-scripted by ourselves. And it was a fascinating experience because dealing with those people, those 3 individuals, was another eye-opener for me to see the massive level of illiteracy. that someone can literally not sit in front of you and repeat what you're saying to them verbatim. Like no comprehension. So that was quite insightful. And then we fitted the device on each of the 3 of them, and over the course of a week at different intersections, we tuned into a radio station which I won't mention, and then their thoughts would interrupt any car within 10 meters. And the idea is that they broadcast, so it interrupts the radio station the driver's listening to, and basically you hear this street person saying, you don't want to look at me, you want to ignore me, but the greater problem you're trying to ignore is that I didn't have education. So instead of giving money, which you're not going to do, why don't you rather donate at one school at a time.co.za? And I think we only did it 2 weeks ago, so we haven't seen, I don't expect huge results. I mean, I've been on radio and then I get like 2 donations. But I think the sort of building the content, putting it as part of my personal credentials for once at a time when I go and look for sponsorships, it's a powerful piece of work. Reseeding it on YouTube with a link straight back to the website. So I'm not in any sort of, I'm not disillusioned by thinking, ooh, thousands of people are going to respond to it. We haven't had one direct response, but I think it's all part of the bigger process of putting together a massive case study for education in South Africa.